this is looking more like the Marvels, and I don't think they want to repeat the Marvels. And oh, by the way, it's not only just the Marvels, it's a bridge to Thunderbolts. So we're literally going from Captain America Brave New World floptacular to this disaster to Thunderbolts. Yeah. Good Lord.
And this movie should be a movie that any mom, any aunt that's got a niece, her friends, you probably even drag the little brother along. This movie should make a lot of money had Disney not royally screwed things up.
But the whole thing is that it all comes back to Disney, Marvel, and all of these properties feeling as if they're not firing, as if they're not hitting on all cylinders.
Renegade Online. The long-range forecast, Disney goes back to the beginning with Snow White remake. Now, this is a story, obviously, based on the date. We pulled this up about a week or two ago now on a show. But I want to take you through the progressions. Let me show you where we are. This was what we had from Box Office Pro. And this was back on Feb 21, Friday, 2 Fridays ago. Domestic opening weekend, according to Box Office Pro, they were looking at the time with the very first couple of days of ticket sales, an early clock of about $65 to $85 million. $65 to $85 million. Brett, Michelle, guys, does that sound like a good number to have when you have a movie that's probably going to finish up costing somewhere close to $400 million?
No.
Remember we said $65 to $85 million at Box Office Pro?
Yeah.
THR. THR now has it as of 2 days ago. 2 to 3 days ago. $53 million box office opening. The closer we get, obviously, to the actual release, the more accurate these numbers are going to get. Each one of them is a snapshot. And I want to remind folks, don't come back 3 weeks from now and say, Valiant, you were wrong. It did $60 million. It did $65. It did $42. This is a snapshot in time as of right now, February 27th in this case, for when this report was made. But let's talk about some of this. Disney's Snow White live-action remake starring Rachel Zegler as the iconic princess, swing and a miss, is tracking to open at $53 million in the North American box office, according to Hollywood research firm, or a leading one. While that's the target number, the range is anywhere from 48 to 58. So again, Box Office Pro, again, that's not THR, it's not Deadline. They do their own thing, but for relevance, 65 to 85. Now that target has shrunk and narrowed and dropped in tandem with it, 48 to 58 million. There's sure to be plenty to debate as whether that would be a solid versus mess start for the spring tentpole. Let me do a full break right here. Let me go down the list. If this movie opens between 48 and $58 million, does anybody want to make an argument that this would be a solid start versus a meh start? Go ahead. It's on you. I need 30 seconds, so I'm going to let y'all take this. Have fun.
It's not going to happen, especially given that, like, what if you look at what The Little Mermaid opened to? It was 96 million over 3 days and like 118 over 4 days, and that was just 2 years ago. There's no way that you can consider $53 million anything other than meh or below meh.
But it's absolute flop territory. I mean, there's no if you open to that amount, you are going to lose massive amounts of money. So if that translates to meh, then, meh is not as bad as I think it is. Because I think this is looking more like the Marvels, and I don't think they want to repeat the Marvels. And oh, by the way, it's not only just the Marvels, it's a bridge to Thunderbolts. So we're literally going from Captain America Brave New World floptacular to this disaster to Thunderbolts. Yeah. Good Lord. How bad can it be, Michelle?
I mean, that's bad because, I mean, they're really, let's see, I've been to the theater and I love going to the theater. I've been to the theater once this year. I saw a slasher film, but I mean, there's been not a lot out for families to take their kids to. And this movie should be a movie that any mom, any aunt that's got a niece, you've got a daughter, niece, her friends. You probably even drag the little brother along. This movie should make a lot of money had Disney not royally screwed things up along the way. Like this, again, this should have been a $1 billion film had you followed the route they followed all the way, even through Aladdin. Despite how people may feel about these movies, they all made $1 billion because they all looked like the original.
Yep.
Jungle Book made a ton of money, and it's not like Jungle Book is held in the same regard as any of those other properties. I mean, people like it, but it's not thought of the same way.
Oh, you bring up a great point, Brett. Jungle Book, I mean, scored $1 billion. Lion King, $1.5 billion. Little Mermaid, 570 million, something along those lines. Snow White, and Brett, I'm curious to get your thought on this. And this, my speculation has been for some time. Little Mermaid has been a much stronger Disney princess character in terms of merchandise sales over the last 30 years than Snow White. There's a proximity issue, right? Because Little Mermaid is a lot newer, even though she's 30 years old. Little Mermaid's still a lot newer, 35 years old now, I guess, than Snow White from 1937. Snow White was popular, but never as popular as Ariel. And you get this live action movie of Little Mermaid goes out, cranks 580 million, 570 million in the same year, I might add, that Barbie clocked $1.5 billion at the box office, which was humiliating for Disney, no matter how you slice it.
Yep.
Can Snow White beat the Little Mermaid's box office?
Not with those opening projections. Not with those opening projections. I don't think so. Also, Little Mermaid came out in the summer and had more, more time for.
Memorial Day.
Can correct me if okay, never mind.
It was Memorial. Yeah, no, it was a May movie. You're right.
Yeah,
it was the lead off of the summer in 23. Yeah,
and then all the other movies are going to suffer, right? Like the only movie that I've seen from all of these that seems to have that garnished any actual interest is I know a few people who are kind of excited about the Thunderbolts. And I was like, I have to ask him, like, which trailer did you watch? Because there's three separate trailers for these movies, and they all look completely different. But it's not getting any lead in from Captain America. It's not going to get any lead in from what's going on with with Snow White, because they're different audiences. But the whole thing is that it all comes back to Disney, Marvel, and all of these properties feeling as if they're not firing, as if they're not hitting on all cylinders, which obviously we know if they don't build up the habit of going to the theaters, people get out of the habit. I got out of the habit. Yep. I just went to Captain America and I was like, wow, as mediocre as that movie was, I actually like being at the theater. I need to actually go and do this more. But if you're not making anything that makes people want to go there, then people are going to fall off.
Make sure you're subscribed to Valiant Renegade and join us every Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern for the live show.